We hear that this bill can save Washington families potentially $100 a year. Mr. Speaker, when you're increasing the cost of groceries by 20 to 30% with this policy, that is well over $100 a year. That is going to be $100 a week.
We are one of the most expensive states in the nation, in the top 10, if not the top 5 in multiple categories. The cost of gas, groceries, rent, housing, health care, child care, insurance, you name it, we're skyrocketing in all those categories in the worst kind of way, Mr. Speaker. What this underlying bill purports to do is to maybe marginally increase the recycling rates, but at what cost? That cost is borne in our grocery prices.
My folks at home cannot afford more costs. And you're going to kill my small businesses.
It will be pennies, they said, about the fuel. Well, they told me that it's going to be pennies, maybe a penny on a bottle. But there's billions of bottles of cosmetics and other plastic products that are sold in this state. And pennies add up really quickly.
You know, I hear people say, well, and I just heard not long ago in comparison with the Climate Commitment Act, that the prices will only go up for fuel just by pennies. Well, I just go across the state line and I'm saving between $1 and $1.20 a gallon for my fuel, my truck, every time I fill up. I don't want to have to be able to do that with my groceries and go across the state line. I want to be able to support my community and my state.
This is the wrong title for this. This should be called the Idaho Economic Development. That's for my area. That's what this bill should be called.
This is going to cost folks in the state of Washington who are paying for groceries massive amounts of dollars onto their grocery bills. It's why California was doing a study about it and stepped back from it, because they saw how much money this was going to cost their residents.
We're going to give unprecedented power under this underlying bill to something called a PRO, a producer responsibility organization, which is essentially just an unelected nonprofit that is not subject to Open Meetings Act requirements. It's not subject to the Public Records Act.
We're going to let them set up a private nonprofit, let them charge all the money they want, and we have no oversight from the state of Washington? None. We're giving them we're making them that they're not even subject to antitrust laws. Boy, this does not pass the smell test at all.
This bill is entirely silent about how this producer responsibility organization is going to be governed, how it's going to be operated, how the board leadership will be selected, and how continuing board leadership will be selected over the course of the future operations of the PRO. With regard to accountability, this organization, which will have control over hundreds of millions of dollars, is completely unaccountable to any voters or any local government. This is not transparent. This is not accountable.
Madam Speaker, maybe tomorrow after this vote's all figured out, we can connect and we can discuss why the desire to create an entity with no oversight, why the desire to take money away from single moms in my community as they're buying groceries and feed it into a system, a Lovecraftian system that puts money into for-profit companies that are shielded by a nonprofit that has no oversight. In fact, the only thing we have here is a trust me bro mentality about this business. If I was to start a nonprofit, I would have more oversight. If I was to start a for-profit, if I was to sell lemonade in front of my house, I would have more oversight than this company that's going to take hundreds of millions of dollars away from the citizens of my community, from my constituents.
Responding to the good lady from the 36th, talked about a lot of plastic in our water, in our bodies. Problem, absolutely. The challenge comes in the solution. All the solution is, the proposed solution is as a tax. Problem, unrelated tax that doesn't solve the problem. That is a trend that this bill perpetuates.
The legislature, by passing this bill, would make a choice to increase those grocery costs, Mr. Speaker. because extended producer responsibility is just code for double consumer responsibility. It's double consumer responsibility because, Mr. Speaker, these costs never actually remain at the producer. They always get passed down to the consumer.
When you have 35% of Washingtonians having experienced food insecurity, those are real people. Those are real families, and those are real children.
I am genuinely trying to understand the arguments in support of this really bad bill. The proposal will make a monopoly that is in charge of realigning the state's recycling plans and also encourage consumer products manufacturers to redesign their packaging and also do something about mitigating already existing waste streams. No one monopolistic NGO can do all of those things.
And we won't have any insight as this program rolls out because there's no accountability. That amendment was rejected. There's no oversight. That amendment was rejected. There's no audit. That amendment was rejected. There's no financial reporting among the people who are running this entity. That was rejected. Madam Speaker, this is a tax on the people of Washington State that they will experience every time they purchase a product in this state. That's what this is about. That's what this does. Vote no.